Good morning and welcome to the Drummergy Podcast. It's episode 131. See, I figured that out last week. You don't say 131. It's 131.
Yes.
So I've been told.
Accurate.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the Drummergy Podcast, Mr. Jared Hallock.
And his first cup of coffee.
Oh, yeah. I set mine on the floor by accident.
Drummergy mug.
Drummergy.
The coffee tastes better in this mug, I've noticed.
Oh,
This
of course.
is delicious.
Of course. Coffee always tastes better when you're hanging out with Fred Fisher.
What's up, Captain? Captain's in the house.
The captain is here. I only know the captain a little bit through TikTok.
Yeah.
And your Discord.
And the Discord.
We'll get to that here shortly. Jared, I like to start this show with ridiculous holidays or goofy holidays. I could only find two. Today is National Apple Strudel Day.
Oh, yeah, I know that.
You knew that?
I mean, I thought everybody knew that.
Yes. So that's awesome that you knew that. And today is also National Eat Your Vegetables Day.
Okay. Well,
I'm not. I don't want to sound like I won't eat vegetables because I will, but they're usually not my first choice.
but somebody's gonna have to pay me. I'm not gonna do this for free.
Right. So that's how that's working. Let's see. I have some notes, so I'm going to try to follow those along. So we are going to be doing some raffles today. So we wanted to mention that as we get started. I've got a pair of 5B Vader wood tip sticks.
It seems like the tricks are easier with these Fred Rock sticks.
Everything's easier with Red Rock.
I mean, they're just balanced.
Yeah.
They're balanced so. I mean, this is perfect. This is the perfect stick.
I think that the 5B stick for me is kind of like, it's like the tool in your toolbox that gets used every time you do a job. It's
Totally. It's a workhorse.
Yeah, it's you can play rock, you can play jazz, you can do symphonic orchestral stuff.
Yep.
It just is it's one of those sticks that just works.
Well, and not only do you get one, but you're gonna get two of them too. I mean, you can have one for
these
each
aren't
hand.
just for Rick Allen. These are for everybody.
Too soon. Too soon.
That's what happens when you drink coffee at 7 a.m.
This joke sponsored by Def Leppard.
That's right. Doing
Hysteria
instead of kadoon. You're the first one to play that drum, Jared.
Oh, on a drum podcast?
Yeah. Yeah, there you go.
Breaking rules.
Yeah. So and then in addition to that, I also have a pair of Los Angeles 5A nylon tip sticks that we're going to raffle off. There you go.
For all your ride cymbal purposes, those nylon tips.
Yeah, I don't use nylon tips that often myself, but I have students that really like them, and I keep a stock of Vader sticks in my cabinet because I always have students showing up that have broken sticks or worn out sticks, and
some people really like nylon tips. There is a use for them. But I'm more of a wood tip guy generally.
Yeah.
But there's definitely, I mean, you definitely want a pair in your bag.
Yeah.
What's up, Isaiah?
So everybody that's joining in, the producer is in the other room. She is writing down names as you guys appear and get you into this drawing. We also have, boy, I'm gonna have to hold that up to the camera.
It's like this, but silver.
Yes. the Drummergy mug.
It's the exact opposite of this one.
Right. Who knew? And then also, you can be entered to win.
Oh, yes,
the Galactic Groove t-shirt.
I mean, there's something that's going to be historically significant about this t-shirt that I need to point out. If you look closely, these are drummers from the future. This shirt was sent to me from the future. Look, drummers from the future are playing matched grip while marching. What? So something has happened between now and the future that we're not aware about. But I mean, this is the result. So I guess I'm excited to see how this plays out.
Yeah. James Harrison is asking, does the coffee come with a mug? Does the mug come with Here's your coffee. No, I totally read that backwards. Does the mug come with coffee?
But I guess the coffee could come with the mug.
Maybe it's in a if I ship those, I should put like a little Keurig.
Yeah, a pod.
A little pod in with it so that
it has Drummergy across the top.
Oh, hey, marketing. Speaking of marketing, I'm wearing one of Jared's other shirts, the Coffee Drummer.
Merchandising.
Is that the name of this shirt, Jared?
That's yes, that's for you.
The Coffee Drummer.
Yep.
I got this for Christmas. The producer got it for me.
It's a very serious drummer drinking coffee.
That's right. The captain says, I got my hat on, and Isaiah says I'm wearing that shirt.
Nice.
Yeah.
Everybody's wearing swag.
Dude, you're too bad we couldn't bring them all on and show off.
Are you? Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, can you? Maybe sometime in the future.
In the future,
when marching drummers play mashed grip, we can bring these guys.
Oh man.
Have you seen? I'm a big Spaceballs fan.
Oh yeah.
Are you?
Well, it's been a while since I've seen it. But I thought it was hilarious. I don't think I remember everything. But
there's a scene in it that I'm always quoting about merchandising, and they say with the New York accent, merchandising.
And
so that's what I'm doing here. Spaceballs style is merchandising.
I love it. I love it. I think having an identity through your merch is a good thing. Is a really good thing. So I met Jared. How many years ago has it been?
Let's see. It's been 3 road rallies.
3 road rallies.
Yeah, because we skipped the last one and we did 2 previous to that.
So a little over 3 years then?
Yeah, a little over 3 years. Yep.
So Jared and I and the producer are part of a songwriters group or producer group that deals mostly with sync licensing through Taxi.
Yeah.
And our fearless leader, Matt Vanderbo,
Matt VB.
He's going to be on the show next week.
And he'll bring his style of witticisms and merchandising.
If he'll fit in the room.
With his guns?
with
his guns or his bags of popcorn?
Well, hopefully he brings pop. We know he's bringing his guns. So that's how we met. There's a local songwriters group that we were involved to be part of, and I met Jared, and I think drummers are typically drawn to one another.
They're easily united,
yes,
shall we say,
yes,
in the cause.
Yeah, so that's how we got to know each other, and we really hit it off, and I think you came over here to check out the studio, and you and I jammed a little bit on some drums, and
we should do some more.
Yeah, and Jared's kind of an outside the box thinker when it comes to music, and so that's always exciting to just get your feedback and ideas and your friendship, and then I can scare the snot out of you.
Yeah, he got me this morning. He got me. There I was minding my own business in the neighborhood.
Yes,
picking up trash, taking care of Fred's yard. Yeah.
No, so when Jared first got here this morning, he came in and he said, I parked behind the cars in the driveway, if that's okay. And I said, well, actually, the kids are going to be leaving for their respective jobs and such. And now the producer's peeking her head in. She tries to be quiet, but just say what you're going to say.
Hear a giggle.
Yeah.
Can you just get closer to the wall because your head's
Who, me?
The logo on the screen.
Oh.
I can't see it, but I can.
Your head's behind the logo on the screen.
I was noticing James's comment.
Oh, let's get James's comment.
Okay.
All right, can you see my head?
Yeah.
This is a very important head to be visible.
All right, we got James Harrison is here. Do you know James?
I know of James, and we've met years ago. Just when he used to play at Hannah's. He's kind of any drummer in town knows who James is. He's kind of a staple, but and I think I've run across him at some post marching band hangs when Spencer Martin was in town, the marching band director up at U of I, or over at TJ Erickson's house. So I'm throwing these names out to help James place where we may have met, but no, we've never really sat down and talked about it.
You're missing out.
Yeah. Well, we're now friends on Facebook.
Yeah.
And I've James, I've been watching your content before we were friends on Facebook. So I think you do a good job with that stuff.
Yeah. So James says, what comes around goes around. In the late 70s to the mid 80s, almost all the drum corps went to matched grip.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, when I brought that up in relating to the shirt, I was joking, James. One of the things that we talk a lot about on my TikTok is the big debate between matched and trad grip. And sometimes I joke about playing double trad because if you're going to play on a flat surface, does it really matter if you're playing a traditional right hand, or why not play double? You know,
you're a very controversial.
Imagine controversial. It's even just got to add that emphasis.
Canceled.
Yeah, canceled for playing double trad.
That's right.
But I do play double trad with brushwork. I find that to be very effective, and I find it to be sexy. A sexy way to play brushes. It gets a nice motion. But I always thought that, okay, so if I'm a DCI guy, if I'm growing up and chasing DCI now, I want to learn double trad because I want to be the group that busts that out and gets known for that. Right.
Okay.
So you start regular trad, go to matched, go to mirror trad.
Yeah. And
then close it out double trad. Just for the feature, just for stylistic purposes only.
Yeah. You'd be viral for sure.
Viral for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah. Well, that's the outside of the box thinking that I'm talking about.
Oh, my bad. Did we go there already?
Well, yeah. We could jump around all we want. But I think so. When did you get into teaching?
Teaching is how I learn. So I think it'd be safe to say that I've kind of been teaching my whole life. It's just been kind of my go-to way to make things make sense to me when I'm removing myself from the picture and the associated struggles and emotions I have with certain concepts. And when I teach it, it just makes it so much easier to digest it. But when I really started connecting as a teacher, I think really started happening in college when I was going to the University of Idaho and studying with Dan Buckvich. I don't know if you've met him.
I have not.
Okay. He has a really unique way of teaching music, and it really aligned with who I am and how I like to learn and teach, and that really I think empowered me as a teacher, as a way of life, as a way of getting through life, as a supplement to everything.
Oh, cool. That's a great way to look at that. So I know this. I don't know if everybody else does. Brian, my student Brian is here. Brian. It's fun to say Brian.
At 7 a.m.
That's right. What is in this cup? Well, the reason I ask, like, when did you start teaching? I have a
thanks, Captain.
I have a pretty.
I was just responding to the chat.
Sorry. Jared is an amazing teacher.
He called me Jared the Wise.
Jared the Wise.
Yeah, I pay Captain to show up to my streams.
Oh, you did. Well, he's not winning anything.
No sticks for you, Captain.
No sticks for you.
That's what you get for complimenting me.
No, you blew it.
You're punished.
You blew it because you said you were paying him.
I blew it.
Hey, don't tell him this.
Yeah.
Hey, guys.
Oh, is this hot? My bad.
We're not live now, are we? I asked the teacher question in relationship to the traditional grip debate.
Yeah.
As James Harrison does his reels and stories, he does these hot topic discussions.
Mm-hmm.
And as you and I and James and anybody else out there posting content knows that you got your internet experts out there who weigh in with their opinions and thoughts, but they have little to no experience.
Yeah.
In
or they like they ask ChatGPT one sentence and think they're a genius.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So James has a lot of great thoughts in like these hot topic items.
Mm-hmm.
I think because my son has done DCI and WGI, and I used to teach at Mountain View High School, and I was a big believer in traditional grip for the tradition of it. And I thought also, and I still feel this way, it's a necessary skill if those snare drum players are going to move on to college and move into the drum corps world, that is a skill that's required of them. So
maybe
I think that there's at least a current trend in our area to get away from it, and the number one reason that I get told from other drum instructors is they're really dismissive about it and say it's too hard to teach it. And now I disagree with that. That's my hot topic. That's my put them up.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
what say you, Jared Hallock?
Well, first I want to point out that your son has a license plate with a paradiddle diddle on it, and that's rad.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to the question.
Yeah.
There's a lot there in what you just said, but you ended with trad being hard to teach, and that kind of this is gonna be a great conversation to get James in on too, and Captain and
I would add to that, hard to teach. That's what I've been told.
Yeah.
Or that it's too hard to learn.
Yeah.
And that I guess I keep expanding. I'll let you answer in a second.
Uh-huh.
It's like getting I'm so bad. I'm rudis interruptus.
No mic for you.
No mic for you. Is that okay? You can get one person to play, but then you get two people involved, or three or four, or however big your snare line is. That cleaning that, getting everybody to play well, it becomes harder than matched grip.
Yeah, well, I mean, at the end of the day, no matter what grip you play, it's work.
Sure. Yeah.
And so I think trad is historically significant and historically important, and a killer style of playing. It's absolutely significant and important to learn if you're a student of the craft. Can you get by without it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it necessarily used in times? Let me rephrase. There's times when I'm seeing it be used when maybe I think match could be a better choice musically. Match does also offer stylistic opportunities that trad doesn't. So I think they complement each other well. Now, the DCI world and the college world, from that perspective, are oftentimes two different worlds.
Yeah.
Unless you get a university that has a DCI heavy mindset in their marching, then of course they relate. But there's just so many schools out there where it's just a completely different experience.
Sure, absolutely.
So then that begs the question: if it's a different experience, that means you have a different type of performer in your ensemble, and maybe they're not the performer who started on drums. Maybe they started on trumpet.
Yeah.
And this is their way of learning how to get in the pocket and have some fun and meet some new people. Is that the person to start on trad? And do you want to have to hold your whole line back just because I mean it becomes, you have to make a decision,
right,
of because of your student population. Is it easier to go with something like matched over trad? One matched could be easier to teach because you're literally you're mirroring your hands. You only need to learn one technique.
Yeah.
And it's just paralleled on either side of the body.
Yeah.
I've noticed when teaching trad, and I should emphasize that my strength is as a matched player, but I study trad for its historical significance.
Yeah.
But I've noticed when teaching trad that you oftentimes run across different learning disabilities that make it difficult. And when you're teaching matched, it's some of those learning disabilities are easier tackled. And once you understand the matched concepts, a lot of them do translate to trad. So matched is also a stepping stone towards trad. So sometimes I feel like even if the end result is trad, sometimes I feel like that there's some steps in between that's missed.
Okay.
And I don't feel that there's anything musically wrong with stopping it matched and making that the best that you can. But the thing is that the more you learn, the less you know, and you just keep going and going and going, and you're eventually going to end up playing French grip when you're on that ride cymbal.
Yeah.
You know, and then your match grip is going to become just a little bit more German, you know, just a little bit more German, a little bit more tight when you're playing funk on the hi-hat.
Yeah.
You know, so there just comes a point where just learn it all.
Absolutely. You can't know too much stuff. So one thing that I took from your answer is that you have to be able to work with the strengths and weaknesses of the people in the drum line. And when I noticed this when I went to Dayton, Ohio in April, the high school groups that performed that were more Eastern groups.
Oh, yeah.
Like their whole mindset, like you said, has been geared towards this thing earlier on. And it seems out here that there's less emphasis on there's a different mindset, I think, in doing those things. I think, well, I guess my hang up is where it becomes dismissive because you're predetermining the outcome. Like, and I know a lot of battery instructors in the area who, when I see them, their group is playing match grip. And when I ask why, a lot of times the answer isn't because they're not ready or that nobody in the line knows how to do it. It's because the band director made that decision 8 years ago to not do it. And it's like, it's not even worth the fight.
Yeah.
And see, I haven't read James's comment yet, but let's see what it says. Well, let's show it. I think that there's an assumption that traditional is more difficult, and other times drummers or marching groups are judged as being better if the traditional group. Yeah, I think that's true too.
I think both those are true.
Yeah.
Well, so, but to your point about the program director deciding matched like 8 years ago, and then just sticking with that.
Yeah.
You know, to me, I think.
Do you think that's like a foolproof plan?
No, I think if a director or whoever's in charge isn't analyzing their program and making changes on an annual basis, then they're being not as proactive as they could be. That distracted me. I'm sorry.
I know, me too. That's what happens this is live TV, people, when the producer hands you something.
Going to commercial.
We'll do it live.
Wait, we've been on this whole time?
What were you saying?
Yeah, but so I guess I want to point out though that oftentimes, and if we're just talking, you don't hear those comments in DCI.
No.
Well, I guess you hear them in reverse. Why do you play trad? Well, because that's what you do. Right. So I guess you do hear that in DCI in reverse. So I'm skeptical of any situation that doesn't give room for growth.
Yeah.
I don't care what direction it heads, and I don't care if shifts need to be made along the way, or even if it needs to be reversed and repointed. But I'm skeptical of anything that doesn't grow and challenge.
Yeah, I think that I really do believe that people in general are capable of accomplishing things that they don't think that they're capable of. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Well, for example, I'll have a brand new student come in this room who's never played drums before, and they're nervous. There's nervousness for multiple reasons. We just met. They're in here, and by the time they're leaving in a half hour, they can play a simple rock beat.
Yeah.
Which 30 minutes before that, they had never hit a drum before.
Yeah.
It's like, yes, you can do this. Here's how.
Yes,
And
you
so
can.
Yes.
Yes, you can.
And so you just take those steps.
Yeah.
When I've introduced myself to drumline caption heads and snare line techs, when I go to the park in Indianapolis and they're all doing their warm-ups, and I'm like, hey, so do you teach other? They're like, oh yeah, I teach at my high school. I'm like, what is your position on traditional grip? And they say that's what they try to get to the drum line, the snare line to do first, is play traditional. And if it just seems like it's going to be a real stretch to try to get the whole line to play that way, then they go backwards to match grip. And I would just like to make it clear though that like I'm a match grip player myself. I play drum set, and to me, I don't have a need to play that way. But sometimes when I'm sitting here and I'm working on rudiments and things like that, I'll switch to traditional grip just to try to keep some of that working.
Well, I mean, there's a certain crack to your backbeat that you can get when you're rocking your right hand on the right cymbal.
Yeah.
And you're laying back just right in your posture.
Yeah.
And you do a trad crack rim shot.
Yeah.
You can't get that with matched. You don't always need that.
No.
I mean, you got to be just like, the pocket has got to be right, but there is a time when it's like, okay, there's nothing but trad for this moment in time. Crack.
I know.
So you got to be ready for that.
Yeah. I also sometimes switch to traditional when I'm playing with my country band, just because I think it has a different groove to it when I play that way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And it's like, oh, this is really cool. But I think my default setting is match grip.
Yeah. Well, you got to have a working knowledge of trad to really do some nice brush work.
Yeah. You
can do some matched brush work, but I would argue in the brush work that the matched kind of gets in the way. And I want to let everybody know I'm reading your comments, and I mean, like, it sounds like we're all on the same page with all this stuff.
Oh yeah. Let's so as I'm, because I got to get my words in order. So the producer came in and
no words, only rhythm.
And so if you're just joining us,
what spurred this conversation was our raffle conversation.
I know it was
about matched grip
in the future,
and our sticks.
Yeah, we got a couple pairs of sticks we're going to be raffling off.
And our mugs,
a mug, and Jared's shirt. It'll be a new shirt, not the one that Jared's wearing.
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, here we go.
Oh no, it just happened.
It's the Flam Daddy.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Flam Daddy just showed up. Speaking of raffles, this raffle is special for the Discord.
Yes.
The Flam Daddy is not a part of this other raffle, which is very significant. These items in this shirt.
Yes.
Forget that you saw the Flam Daddy. That's a conversation for some other time.
Well, we're going to talk about the Flam Daddy.
Oh.
And the diddler.
Oh, it's a good thing I brought it. Oh.
But
rudiment jokes.
Matt Vanderbo's here. What up, Matt?
What up, Matt?
Matt, we were just talking about that you're going to be on next week, and wondering if we can fit you in the room and your popcorn.
Yeah. It's going to have to be a decision.
Let's I'm going to go back and check the comments here in a second. But Jared was just talking about playing traditional with brushes, and that's something that James Harrison demonstrates frequently in his.
I've seen him.
If you guys, I'm going to put a big plug in here for James.
Follow James.
James Harrison on Facebook or YouTube or Instagram. James the Animal
or
Harrison.
life in general.
Yeah. James has a lot of really great brush tutorials available. Let's see we just want to make sure we don't miss some people. Oh, the captain's heavily involved here. The producer, James says on drum set, both grips are related and manipulated to get certain sound. Yeah. And that, I mean, just to springboard off that too, like my default is match grip German. But yeah, I'll get a little more
typical.
Yes.
I could have guessed that.
Well, my last name is Fisher.
I don't even need to know your last name to know that you play match grip German.
I'm 100% correct.
It's funny.
I'm a purebred.
It's funny how different instruments and different techniques really do align with a person's personality.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like I'm just generalizing here, but you can tell a trad player.
Yeah.
When they're walking. No,
By the angle
I'm just
of their
playing.
nose.
Yeah. So sometimes I think it's kind of fun to give the rudiments personalities. Like Swiss triplets. If they shopped, it would probably be at Trader Joe's.
Oh.
I mean, you're not going to catch a flam in Trader Joe's.
No.
A flam buys his produce at Home Depot or Lowe's. That's where he gets his produce.
That's
but not a Swiss,
right.
but not a Swiss triplet.
You're so right. Oh wow. You are right about that. That's crazy to think that way. Yeah. I mean, it's a crazy thought.
Yeah.
Not that you're thinking is crazy.
Yeah. So I mean, the question is, what's a Radimacue?
Fancy word.
What's the personality of a Radimacue? I think it's like a Pomeranian.
Yeah. But yeah, you would find the flam at Home Depot or Lowe's. That's for
Looking.
sure.
Have you seen the apples? I'm here for produce, man's produce.
Let's see who we're missing here. So Isaiah said, I chose traditional because it's a learning curve for new members, but I think it will set them up better.
Yep. That's a great choice.
Yeah. Captain's here. That's what my line did. We had our center snare decide match or traditional for that season.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice when the drum line lead can make that decision for the ensemble. Sometimes the teachers, depending on the school and what level we're talking about, sometimes the teachers or the professor, sometimes they're not percussionists. They don't know the finer details, and they were taught back in their tech class that just stick with this,
right,
and just go with this, and maybe they really connected with the teacher of that class, and maybe that was very poignant advice for the time. But I don't think that would indicate that you shouldn't ever try anything else ever again. But you can see how people get stuck in those habits.
Yeah, I think you're 100% correct. I did have one student that took lessons for a while who she had done her student teaching for a band program, and she was getting ready to graduate college and get a job as a band teacher. And she came here for lessons because she felt like the percussion course in college was so narrow and just a really quick flyover view that she didn't feel like she really had a grip on the situation.
Yeah.
Right? Getting ding. I want a gong now.
You need a mallet here.
I need a mallet. We could. What if we put a trigger on this? That's
you know what you need is
yes. The Jared mallet. I love that. We'll come back to that. This is gonna be.
We'll set that aside with the Flam Daddy.
That's right.
For the after hours.
Well, there's okay, I want to finish getting some of these comments. We're totally losing control of it. I like it. Yeah, Military Park, says the producer. Yeah, that's where they let's see here.
Back to Spaceballs.
Captain says, I have a question for Fred. You think there is a difference between jazz traditional and marching traditional?
Ooh, nice.
Okay.
Bring in the heat.
Like it.
Woo!
Fastball.
Yeah.
Hopefully this isn't a swing and a miss. I do. I think, when you're playing traditional for marching band, that thumb doesn't leave this finger, and you're trying to be really everybody on the snare line's aiming to have the same technique, to have the same result, the same sound quality. I think you could be a little looser in your traditional approach when you're playing jazz. Yeah. It's not a real militant, exact, precise drumming with off the wall hybrid rudiments. And in jazz is really slanky and loose. Yeah. And you can let that thumb come off that finger. And
so if can I piggyback?
Yeah, absolutely.
So And Captain actually has a good picture of this. So you can visualize jazz or marching trad, I think, as a more tighter interpretation of the form in your hands. And then when playing with a looser feel, which is a little bit implied with the word jazz, you can envision just a looser feel of the overall form of your hands. So the foundation of the form doesn't necessarily change, at least technically speaking.
Yeah.
But a slight interpretation of that form is how I think of it.
Well, also when you're just on a drum that's just one drum.
Yeah.
And you're playing traditional grip versus moving around an entire drum kit and reaching for cymbals and moving around. That I think the home base for the form is still there.
Yeah.
But how you
it needs to
the
be
rotation of the wrists and how that arm is moving and
you're gonna you have to,
are you articulating this way and this and all of those things.
That's part of the improv. You're gonna have to articulate your grip just like you have to just like the sax players articulating their lines, and it's all coming out of that foundation. But there's some interpretation there, and that brings up an interesting conversation that I'd love to have. So take that same concept where you're comparing something very specific in the world of DCI to something very specific in the world of, we'll just say, jazz.
Yeah.
But, well, yeah. Okay. So let's talk flams. I argue that in the world of DCI, flams are tight with less space because they're easier to clean. Everywhere else, from a drum set perspective, flams are open,
really open,
and meant to be a bit sloppy at times, right? But that doesn't change the technique of the flam. I mean, you can't it's still a flam,
right,
at its core, but one's just a little bit looser.
Yeah, to me, it's like you take those two hits and you're putting a little more space in between those.
Yeah, and to do that in an ensemble where you're being judged for the quality of your space, how the heck are you going to line that up with 10 snare drummers or 2 snare drummers?
Right.
So you got to tighten that flam up.
Right.
Got to tighten that flam up, boy.
Tighten that flam up.
You get in that room and tighten that flam up.
I want to see that on your next TikTok. All right. So the producer says, I think she's talking about the raffle. I have James, Steve, Gary, Anthony entered into the raffle. I can't see
Matt Vanderbo,
who is all
Isaiah,
the captain. Who did I miss? Oh, that's Matt.
If we didn't mention your name, say it in the chat so we can get you in the raffle. Type it in bold and say, "Look at me, notice me."
Yeah.
Say, "Stop talking."
That's right.
I'm just here for the swag.
I'm here.
That's the next shirt we're gonna raffle.
That's right. Let's see. James says, I remember teaching Spencer Martin at a camp when he was in high school. Pretty sure it was match, but we talked about both.
Yeah, James. James Spencer remembers that too because he's shared that conversation with me. James, you've been a part of many of my drumming conversations over the years. So maybe one day we should do it in person.
Yeah. Mary, did you get Ron Ross Kelly on that list? Producer Ron Ross Kelly.
So if you want to open the Pandora,
Ron Ross Kelly, your table is ready. Party of 4. Ron Ross Kelly. Oh, let's see what James said. See, James always has good stuff. Actually, if you wanted to open Pandora's box, traditional grip has changed like crazy over the years. Even the marching version used now is different because of the drum heads. Yeah, we're dealing with Kevlar heads.
Yeah, well, I mean, look at the drummers from the future. I mean, it's going to progress. It's going to progress quite a bit.
Transparent aluminum. Yeah.
What I want to know.
Daniel Marshall is here. He said, "You missed me."
Throw Daniel on the list.
Daniel is on the list.
Oh, this raffle's going to be crazy.
I know.
Oh my gosh. I'm stressing. Got Ron.
Okay, cool.
Got milk?
Cool. Got Ron.
And Matt's still here. Matt wants to make sure he's in the raffle.
Yep. Okay, that's a hot topic item though, the traditional versus match. But I like
Oh yeah, it is.
I like what you said too, like moving the traditional to the right hand or doing double trad.
Double trad. Well, yeah.
I think you're just going to engage different muscle groups, and why not?
So that's
if you were a left-handed drum set player,
you got to learn.
Would it make sense to play traditional with your right hand?
That's it. Exactly. Yeah, you're
Or is everybody just going to turn their nose up and let all the internet experts let you know how you're doing it wrong?
Well, there's probably gonna be a lot of that. There's probably gonna be a lot of that.
I think with James, close your eyes. Does it still sound the same?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah. Close your eyes. Does it still feel the same?
Yeah, yeah.
I think for me, that's what it boils down to. As long as a person is playing relaxed, I don't care how they're holding the stick. As long as they're relaxed and making musical choices.
Yeah.
So I think the more musical choices you have in your bag of chops, the better. So yeah, you should learn double trad, and I'm not being facetious in saying that. You should. And the thing is that once you start doing that, you're going to open up different synapses in your brain that start firing and connecting through different routes, and start building different bridges. And you don't know what benefits come from those other bridges.
100%.
So you may never use double trad, but you're going to use those bridges.
Yeah. I think, well, this conversation is going to, okay. So Daniel says Todd Zuckerman rocks the traditional grip.
That's a hell of a player.
Billy Cobham used to do double trad.
Yep.
Just to prove that grip doesn't matter.
Yep. But grip doesn't matter when you're Billy Cobham. No.
Well, isn't it okay? So isn't that an interesting thing? Is like if you are a drummer who has a really successful career and you do things that are way outside the box, then everybody goes, "Oh, cool! Look what he's doing." But if somebody else did that, they'd be like, he's doing it wrong. What an idiot. Blah. They're going to come down and rain on your parade.
Yeah. I mean, it's also like, the Thelonious Monk piano argument, I mean, would anybody say Thelonious isn't a piano player? Probably not. But would they say that dude has anything close to technique? Probably not.
No.
I mean, so there are the people out there who break all the rules and redefine possibility for us.
Yeah.
And the thing is that could be every one of us who breaks those rules. It's us getting stuck and in our own way, in a way that prevents the experimentation that only you know how to do.
Right.
So learn double trad. Good luck finding a teacher.
Well, there's one right there.
Today on Trad with Your Right Hand by Jared Hallock.
That's right.
Hold on, let me ask the Slam Daddy.
Well, so that would lead me into this other thought about open-handed playing.
I was going to take it there. Give me some.
There you go.
Drummer talk. Yeah, we got some drummergy going on here.
Yeah, drummergy unite. Yes. All right. So I typically start everybody off playing crossed.
Yeah.
In a traditional drum setup sense. But I have had students come in who are right-handed players, but they naturally want to play open-handed.
Which makes complete sense.
It does. So I always try to make sure they can do both.
Yeah.
Because it's going to... So if you play... when you go to play ride, you're open hand, right? And so that left hand is free to move around the kit and come up with these different rhythms and grooves. So such is the same if you play open hand, playing the hi-hat with your left hand, and then your right hand can move around the kit.
Exactly.
So I saw this discussion, I think, on your Discord, which we want to make sure we talk about that too. But I think as the drum kit has evolved and equipment has evolved and things become more available, like with things like a remote cable hi-hat,
a second snare,
double kick pedal that could be for right or left. You can move your bass drum to one side of there's
the clap cymbals are becoming standard.
Yeah.
The stacks.
Yep. So equipment is now starting to allow a lot of this stuff to happen easier than it did,
Yeah.
especially when I got started playing drums.
Yeah.
There was only, just your standard hi-hat. So I would say learning cross is a really, really important skill to have, because most drum sets that you're going to sit at are going to be set up in a traditional, similar manner. But yeah, can you sit down and play left-handed? Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
So I Isaiah, we're going to hit the benefits on playing this way as a part of this conversation. I'm glad you took it there, Fred, and I completely agree. And I should clarify that I'm currently like forcing myself to learn how to play open-handed.
Mhm.
I don't play open-handed. I never have.
Okay.
But I'm going to, because I understand. I can see the benefits.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna have to start way back at the beginning and open my books back up and do all the same stupid exercises that we all have to do.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, just like you're pointing out, when you're playing ride cymbals like this, unless you have some weird setup,
Right.
But then, so it would make complete sense to play like this. There's more room for backbeat like this, for laid back, for manipulation of where you place the backbeat. When you're playing like this, you have to come up with some sort of adjustment. Either you're moving your wrist up, or you're moving this out like this, or there's just some sort of adjustment to get your backbeat right. And there is a kind of a fun little dance to that. That's part of the playing. But to be able to get a solid backbeat this way that you can when you're on that ride, that's a chorus style backbeat. To get a chorus style backbeat while you're playing hi-hat style verse work, I think is an incredible tool.
Yeah, I think you can't learn too much stuff. And I think that there's certain rules maybe to follow in songwriting if you're appealing to the mass audience. But I think some of the greatest guitar players, like take Eddie Van Halen, for example, who had like a total Frankenstein guitar.
Yeah.
Do people say, oh, it's wrong to wire this pickup that way or whatever? It's like, why with drums? Yeah. I think drums to me are one of the most customizable pieces of gear you can play.
Yeah. There are some interesting challenges depending on what kind of drummer you want to be.
Absolutely.
So for example, if you're going to be in a lifestyle where you're having to play backline.
Yeah.
because I mean, like what's happening right now is, and I know you've seen it, is not only are we going towards open-handed playing, like the hi-hat is literally being moved to over here to your right hand, like and just with the pedal over here on your left foot.
Yeah.
Right. So if you're used to playing that way, your beats are going to be completely specific to that.
Yep.
And your movement and your song design that we all know drummers contribute to is going to be completely limited to that.
Yeah.
Now that means that you're going to have that set up when you travel. If you can, sweet, dude.
Right. Yeah.
But a lot of times you're going to end up playing backline, especially if you're doing festivals. And it's not going to be set up for your cute little hi-hat to go over there. It's going to be set up for a stanky ass dirty thing right here. That's probably 2 crash cymbals put on top of each other, and you're gonna have to pull that off.
Yeah. And the festival shows where you're using backline gear, that's a throw and go situation.
Yeah.
Can you get up there and play your songs with a traditionally set up drum kit?
Yeah.
And so in your Discord.
Exactly, James. Sorry. The only people that care or judge are other drummers and learn what you want to play.
Yep.
Preaching, dropping bombs in the chat.
Bombs, truth bombs.
Yeah. Ting.
I bet
there was no energy in that.
If I hit it harder, it's gonna be like it's gonna go through this brick wall.
Yeah. The very sturdy brick wall.
Yes, exactly. So when I'm teaching, I don't know what's happening in the other room.
I heard a cackle. I heard a cackle. She's probably laughing at us,
I think having some good form and good technique just to even prevent injury is really important. So you got to have certain awareness of how you're playing drums to accomplish what you want to do.
Yep.
But I think outside of that, I don't have any I've been playing drums for 43 years. I don't have any physical ailments as a result of drumming. I don't have a back problem because of drumming. My elbows don't hurt because of drumming or any of those kind of things.
Yeah. I mean, my thought with that stuff is you got to learn proper body technique, just like you got to learn proper stick technique, right? But once you get comfortable with it, and essentially what I'm saying is, once you know how to function in a relaxed fashion and hold tension nowhere in your body,
right?
It doesn't matter what you do. You can dance and get and that's when you're in the zone.
Yeah.
But if there's tension anywhere in your body, you got to get that right first.
Yeah.
And it's going to actually open up musical possibilities for you to remove that tension from your body. And one of the ways to attack that is with focusing on form.
Yeah.
Until it becomes second nature.
I saw a Dom Famularo interview, and he said tension is the enemy of motion. So if you're holding that tension, you just like the motion of what you're trying to do is going to be really limited.
Yeah. I mean, think of your body like a drumstick and let it vibrate.
Yeah. But I tell my students the same thing. Like, you're dancing from the drum throne.
Yeah.
You got that dance happening.
Yeah. So check this out. So I took this, do you know who Jim Payne is?
I don't.
He's this old school funk drummer out on the New York scene, and I sat in with him for a couple lessons. And one of the things that he had me do, so these are funk lessons, mind you, like mid tempo funk.
Yeah.
This wouldn't apply to everything, but as you're playing, I mean, let's just say that you're just playing. So actually, if you can't see my hip on TV now, but rocking your throne back and forth the quarter note and using that for the pulse with the one going forward, driving it. So once you learn how to get your body comfortable by really focusing on your body technique, then you can start making little adjustments within your body that help your groove.
Yeah.
And I just think that's cool.
So as you told me that, I thought about, like, I can chuck along playing eighth notes on my hi-hat pretty easily while I'm playing something, and people are like, how does your leg just do that for 5 minutes? I'm like, well, I'm not
a switch.
It is. It's I'm not stomping on the hi-hat. My leg is just bouncing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I automatically went to it right now.
Yeah. It's I tell people, even like with their bass drum, like, when you bounce your knee up and down like in a nervous thing, that's, you can't see it, but
I mean, that's why you can always spot a drummer. It's the same thing with classical guitarists. If you ever see somebody who has like really nice manicured nails on their right hand,
yes,
and then the nails on their left hand are just crap.
Yeah,
that's a classical guitar player, right? So if you see somebody like sitting next to you in a chair and they're just kind of twitchy with their legs and do stuff like that and snapping every once in a while, that's a drummer.
Yeah.
You're in the presence of us.
Oh man, exactly.
if you see some guy like, you know, buzzing his lips and talking about something being out of tune, that's a trumpet player.
Yes.
Right, Matt?
James says I'm probably commenting too much. No. Learn technique that won't inhibit your playing, but break the rules, create your sound. Yeah. You gotta find your own artistic license and all of that.
Yeah, but Captain nailed my comments.
Jared's big takeaway is to move your hips.
You gotta groove. Right. You gotta dance when you play.
Groove, yeah. That's for sure. See, Matt's still there. He's got the trumpet thing down. So let's see here. I have a few notes. Man, this conversation's
coffee is just better in this mug that's being raffled off soon.
Yes. Gosh. Yes. Who's texting me?
Oh, it's dude, bro. When's the raffle?
Dude, bro.
Is the raffle now?
No.
How about now, bro?
No. So you had a. Sorry, Matt, but tuba is the best brass. That's what my son Ian is playing in drum corps this year, is contra.
How many tuba players does it take to change a light bulb?
I don't know.
Hasn't been determined yet. I don't know either.
Okay.
Yet to be determined.
Getting ding.
Still waiting on that one.
I'm biased because I play it, but it's still true. Yeah, my son Ian's doing his second year of drum corps with Battalion, playing contra.
Nice,
Yeah,
nice. The tuba players are always the most fun to hang with, and
they're very unique,
and they carry the foundation.
That's right.
Yep,
that's right. So let's switch gears.
Okay. No more breakdancing.
You had a new music video come out.
Yes.
Called My Destiny.
Yes.
Let's talk about that.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay.
Shall we?
We shall.
Yeah.
Shall we? Will.
It just released last week. I had a big live stream promo.
Yes.
And the first half an hour, the pre-party, I had technical difficulties,
of course,
which is so frustrating because I tested everything up until 2 minutes beforehand. Everything was working, and I had the audacity to go use the bathroom.
That was the problem.
I know. And I came back, and one of my programs forced an update that took me half an hour to do.
Oh no!
But nonetheless, it was fun, and the music is now the video's out in the world, and I'm really proud of it.
Mary, could you put the link to Matt's? Not Matt's.
Matt's popcorn. Why does Matt's popcorn always get the attention?
I saw Matt's name and I was reading while I was trying to say Jared. Put Jared's video, the My Destiny video, in the comments, please.
And bring us some popcorn.
Matt's got some great flavors of popcorn.
He does.
Yeah. Yeah. What was I saying? Producer, we want the video link to Jared's video.
My Destiny by Jared Hallock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that all done locally?
Yeah. So no, I have a team of people that I work with. And so it was done locally in the sense that via Zoom, I sat in my command center and all the parts that I didn't necessarily want to play or that I wanted a musician's perspective on, I would reach out to this network of people that I've been building as a part of my songwriting network. So I collaborated on the mixing with that. My stuff goes through 3 rounds of mixing. In the final mix, I collaborate with another mixer just to get a completely different perspective. And it's been so beneficial. But that person who I do the last round of my mixing with is in Brazil. So, so it's kind of had like this production element that's been spread throughout the world. I always, of course, like writing my own drum parts, but I'm open to learning. So I have a beat maker that I work with who lives in Vietnam.
Oh, wow.
And so we'll have a Zoom meeting and he'll give me his beat ideas, or he'll supplement mine, or we'll talk about inspiration. So it's just been a worldwide collaboration with all the music I've been doing. My Destiny being one of them.
Wow, that is awesome. I think that's really, really cool. The power of the internet and technology to be able to work with people around the globe to get your music how you want it to be.
Well, that's been one of the benefits that, in my opinion, that came with COVID is that it made it, from a boss's perspective, okay to do stuff online,
Yeah.
So it really opened up everybody's willingness to do that.
Okay, hoping this. So there's probably a link on Facebook, and then, producer, if we could get a link also into the YouTube chat, would be great.
It looks like she's trying to put the link in. It isn't going across for some reason. But you can also just look up Jared Hallock. Yeah.
You can find it on YouTube on a Jared Hallock search.
Although the people here in the chat, some of them were at the release, and some of them know well how to find. But for those who don't, Captain, the whistling in that song, that's 14 layers of whistling with all sorts of pitch tuning.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I've been having so much fun with this recording process because, like, one thing that I've learned is, like, I'm learning how to use instrumentalists and other humans as if the entirety of them and what they bring to the table is an instrument.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just so beautiful, musically speaking, to have a resource and network of people where you can make those kind of choices. So with vocals, what I'm doing is rarely are any of my vocals one person, even if the final product seems to indicate that it's one person. There's usually a male voice in there and a couple different pitches or textures of the lead voice.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been using like different people for each one of those and then blending it together into one voice. And that's kind of how I'm battling AI is I'm making my own unique sound so that if and when, and by the way, I'd be pretty flattered if AI copied me. Yeah. I don't know what everybody's so like, please.
Yeah.
Make me a household name. Make my sound known everywhere.
Yeah.
You have my permission.
Are you using the Jared AI?
Yeah. That doesn't sound like 3 layered voices with textural manipulation.
That's not Jared.
That's not the Flam Daddy. This is ridiculous.
But if they do, it could be he went to Jared.
Yeah. Ooh, listen to that. He went to
Jared. You're in a better angle to smack that thing than I am.
No, I just practiced my right hand trad.
Here's my Jared AI.
Yeah.
Look at this.
This is what are you doing?
Wait.
This is creepy. Oh my god.
You're looking over your own shoulder.
Somebody get a screenshot. Yeah, that's how it feels being one of my students. Oh, this is what it feels like being one of my students.
Your right hand traditional is not very good.
Let me guess. I'm dragging. Let me guess. You want me to
a dragger or a rusher?
Yeah.
This is this.
We're gonna turn this into a mallet for the drum.
It's mounted on a stick.
Obviously.
So I mentioned at the top of the show that I met Jared through our songwriters group, and one of our more recent meetings, Jared was traveling the world doing his thing, and I was gonna miss my buddy, and so I didn't. I wanted to make sure that Jared could attend, and so I found a picture of Jared and I printed it out and I glued it to some cardboard and taped it to a drumstick, and I took it with us to the party. And so then I took some pictures,
selfies
of like Jared was riding in the back of the car, and then different people at the group held it and got their picture taken with AI Jared.
It was the only time anybody would ever talk to me. This is analog Jared.
This is analog Jared.
Yeah.
So that's why I have this, and I just, it was a goofy thing that I did, so it was fun.
Order yours now.
That's right. Ooh, you could put that in your
analog Jared
on your Jared Hallock store.
Yeah,
you could. They could have a.
I'm sure that'd be a sellout.
You know, you could have that with all the rudiments.
You know, I should do it with the rudiments that I've been inventing.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now we're on to something. Merchandising.
This is
back to Spaceballs.
This is the outside of the box thinking that I think is really, really crucial. So do you have a degree in music?
I have 2.
You have 2?
Yeah.
Wow.
Only I would never suggest anybody gets a degree in music unless they're passionate about music and not money.
Yeah.
I don't have 2 degrees because I was chasing a job, so I didn't take the traditional route. I wasn't going to become a teacher, and I knew that going in.
Mm-hmm.
So the only reason I got a 2nd degree was because it was fun, not because I'm chasing any sort of raise or any sort of job. It simply was just an absolute blast. I just love learning.
Okay, what are those degree titles?
The first one is a degree in percussion performance for the University of Idaho. And the second one is a degree in music production with an emphasis in percussion from Berkeley.
Oh, wow.
And they were both Berkeley Online.
Okay.
And they were both completely different experiences and both 100% incredible. One was a real traditional, like study Bach approach.
Mm-hmm.
And the other was study the Billboard 500 approach.
Okay.
So one, you learn how to survive in the Bach and the orchestral world and the teaching world. And the other, you learn how to survive in the technically growing world.
Okay. Well, do you feel like outside of that accomplishment, like that helps direct your musical choices?
It informs me.
Okay.
And you know, I mean, I really think the benefit of school, I don't think it matters what you study in school, or what you study in general. I think the benefit is learning how to meet deadlines and do something you don't want to do, and how to teach yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the number one thing you should be learning in school, is how to teach yourself. So yes, that reinforced all that.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, there comes a point where no matter how many degrees you have, it doesn't matter if the guy sitting next to you can rock a 2-beat with a backbeat that just blows the dance floor out of the water.
Right. Yeah.
So the degrees mean absolutely nothing, but to me, but the amount of work that it took to get there,
mm-hmm.
and the horizon expansion that it gave me makes me proud.
I like that horizon expansion.
Yeah. It's like a good mastered mix.
Yeah.
You know, it just makes it a little just more shine to the horizon.
Yeah. Yeah.
A little more sparkle.
You can't learn too much stuff. Now, I never went to college. My closest experience to going to college was when I graduated high school. I did have an inclination. I wanted to be in a DCI group. I was a big Phantom Regiment fan of that group.
Yeah.
But I just didn't know how to get in with that.
Yeah.
You know, technology makes things a lot easier now. But
yeah,
I was like, well, what's the next closest thing? What about Boise State Blue Thunder?
Yeah.
So the director of Blue Thunder at that time was Dave Wells.
Mm-hmm.
And James was the drumline guy.
Yeah.
And I kind of knew James a little bit because of the band Redstone that he was drumming in. And I was a fan of that band. So I called up Dave Wells, and he had tried to give me a scholarship to go to BSU to play. And it wasn't a big scholarship, but it was something. And I was like, no. Well, so for the 91-92 football season, I had called up Dave Wells and I said, hey, I would love to march snare with the Blue Thunder, but I have no interest in being a student.
That's how you get it done.
And he said, well, you know, we don't typically do that.
But with chutzpah like that, you're on.
And he goes, but you'd still have to come down and audition. I'm like, okay. So I went down and I think James grabbed some music or whatever, or I don't remember if James grabbed it or Dave did, but put it on a stand and I stood at a snare drum and they said, play that. So I had to sight read something.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know how well I played it, but in my mind, I played it well enough that however many measures I played, they said, cool, be at all the rehearsals and all the performances. So,
man, if somebody actively comes to you and says, I want to play in your group, it would be a crazy person to turn down that enthusiasm. Don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hell yeah. That's a fun story.
So
bada bing. That's what happens when you take initiative.
Yeah. I've never been somebody who liked being told no, I couldn't do something.
Yeah. Well, when I started the University of Idaho, this is a funny story. I was told that I had to do marching band if I wanted to be a music major. So I just didn't sign up as a music major. I just went to all the classes except marching band. I wasn't into that at the time. I didn't understand the value. I was young and dumb, whatever.
Yeah.
But then, you know, eventually I ended up finding out my way to play along with the system.
Yeah.
And we all do that in different ways. But I think if the person has initiative, that's all you're going to school to learn anyway. So if you have that,
yeah,
make your own way, but you're going to somehow have to learn something along the way.
Sure.
You're going to have to become uncomfortable in order to expand your boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
There's a variety of ways to do that, you know, and oftentimes those opportunities just come in life. If you're riding life in the zone and listening to your intuition, those opportunities come of their own accord.
They do. You're absolutely right. like, I don't remember at the time what my thought process was to make that phone call.
Yeah. It was your intuition.
I guess so.
Yeah.
And then it worked out in my favor, and I got to march with Blue Thunder and do that football season. I think I went on a couple band trips, and it was fun, and you make friends and all of that stuff. That's kind of a no-go now, because Christian, my son, tried to do the same thing. He's like, well, in the Cretaceous period, when my dad tried to do this, they said he could.
In the Cretaceous period. Well, I mean, that's the thing about making your own way, is that there literally is, like, you can't copy somebody else. That's
right.
It's impossible, I mean, it's sure is inspiring that you did that, and it's worth a shot for him to do it too, right? Possibly, but at some point, if you follow your intuition, the answer will appear, and oftentimes it doesn't make sense. Right. Like you're saying, what made you do that? Right? Like, you don't remember.
I just think I've always had a drive that I wanted to play drums.
Yeah.
And
you just knew there was something there.
Yeah. So when I started playing drums when I was 10, and I just fell deeply in love with drumming, and I've never, ever lost that desire. And I just always was, I never thought about it from like, I'm going to support my family through this, which I do now.
Bada bing,
bada boom. Yes, that's right.
You have to be enrolled for
liability reasons. James says
lawyers
in enrolled. So that was a pretty unique situation that I was able to take advantage of. But a lot of things that have come my way, or that relationships I've built, or even like the endorsements that I have, they're like, how'd you get it? I asked. Just asking.
It's crazy. It's crazy that sometimes it's that simple.
It is. It's just ask for what you want.
Yeah.
Ask, I've got this, some really awesome mentors in my life over the last few years. And one would say, like, if you go to, what am I doing with these?
Oh, we have a mallet.
This is what you get when you have a producer. Here you go. There you go.
She went and bought these. Should we do some sing?
Oh, so when we get ready for the raffle.
Oh, okay, there we go. We'll do a little roll, and there's not going to be a symbol at the end.
Oh, I might have to do traditional here.
There we go.
Traditional on a bass drum.
Yeah. Stop being so untraditional with your traditional jokes.
That guy doesn't know what he's doing.
Having a drum roll for a raffle or a joke without a cymbal crash ending is like doing a 5-1 cadence without resolving on the 1.
We're breaking rules.
What do you think about that, chat?
So just asking for what you want.
Yes.
Asking for what you want. I mean, when you go order food at a restaurant, you say, oh, is it okay if maybe I can get, like, if it's not too much trouble? No, you just order for what you want, right? You ask for what you want.
I know. Like when you go to Peter Schatz and you're like, I want McDonald's.
Well, Peter might tell you where it's located.
Yeah.
The producer says, do I need to bring in the cymbal now?
There's a symbol on the way.
There's a symbol on the way.
Fred, even though I'm joking, I agree with you quite a bit. You just gotta ask, and you gotta stay in tune, and then you just gotta kind of like open your eyes and recognize.
Yeah. I think it's why do you think people don't ask for what they want?
Because it's scary.
There's a fear there.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that we want that if you think about it deep down inside, do you really, do you really want that?
Yeah.
Because you don't know what it comes with.
Right.
So I think some of that comes into play.
There is a fear of the unknown. There's being really, really uncomfortable. Here comes my cymbal.
It has the wrong name on it.
One thing I know that I want now is a splash cymbal.
Just don't show the name.
I'm trying to get an endorsement with a certain symbol.
No, this is my symbol.
Oh, this is Jared's symbol.
Yeah,
Oh, that was in your backpack.
I'm endorsed completely by nobody.
That was in your backpack.
But if I were to be endorsed, I would strongly consider at least considering Sabian.
I go for Peisty. But yeah, that'll work. That'll work.
This is all me.
This is the magic of live TV.
Yes, so we're ready. We're ready for the raffle.
See, Captain, we got the splash symbol. Came in.
See, all you have to do is ask.
That's it.
Sometimes you ask in a chat.
So you were getting really serious, and then that door opened, and the producer came in and screwed that up. But could you recap that?
Sure, if you can tell me what I was saying.
So I talked about being fear of that unknown, and I so I guess the question was, why do you think people don't ask for what they want?
I think it's that deep-rooted fear of having a realization that nothing is free, that nothing is easy.
Yeah,
and it's the devil that you know is sometimes better than the devil you don't know. I just think it's stuff rooted in that, and sometimes it takes a while to actually figure out what you want. You may wholeheartedly think you want something, and then until you get a little closer to what that experience is like, you see what that reality is like, and you realize this isn't resonating with me.
Right.
So it takes a while to really dial in what you want, I think.
Well, here's an interesting thing that's popped up in my life just in this last week. Is my music career keeps evolving and new opportunities unfolding before me with different people to play with, and my ultimate big box to check is to be touring, doing arenas with already an established artist who needs that hired gun drummer guy. Well, I've recently come in contact with some people who are really active in the Nashville scene and have a lot of connections there, and that I've worked with. And it's been heavily suggested to me last week that if I really want to move forward with that, I would seriously need to consider moving to Nashville.
Yeah.
Now, some people will say that all you need is the internet and the airport, which I think that's true to a certain degree. But I think if you want to work in Nashville, being available at a moment's notice is so now. So now I have all these thoughts in my head,
I'll split a house with you.
That's actually
for real.
Yeah, that Mary had mentioned. Maybe that would be the case. Is how do I need to make a permanent move from Boise, Idaho to Nashville? It's I'm just telling you the questions that pop in my head. And these are questions that might, for a lot of people, grab the emergency brake and go, oh, hang on, wait a second.
Exactly.
So I personally have all these questions and all this thought about, what if it doesn't work? What if this? What if that? What if it did work?
Mm-hmm.
What if that was the necessary step? Am I actually going to most of my life choices in music where I said yes to those things always resulted in the thing that I was after.
Yeah, I agree. There is a certain reality that as a responsible human being, you probably are going to consider some of the negative aspects of it.
Yeah.
And if you don't thoroughly consider those, you may be overlooking something.
Right.
Especially if you're talking moving a family or any sort of dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really easy when you're troubleshooting that side of the opportunity to get stuck troubleshooting the negative.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's trying to decide, do I take that? Because that, at this point in my life, it is a big risk.
Yeah. Well,
and it's how do I get my foot in the pool?
So I mean, the thing is that you're right. With the internet and technology now, you can do a hell of a lot without moving.
Yeah.
One thing that I've learned with kind of that Nashville experience is that there is a lot of truth to the fact that sometimes you just got to be around. It isn't necessarily to be available to play. You got to be around for the hang time.
Yeah. networking is
or
friendships
or
and-
the barbecues.
Yeah.
The random, hey, this guy didn't show up, come play shaker. The lifestyle,
right.
the supporting the other projects. So I do think a presence is necessary, and that's something that I'm grappling with too, and would love to talk about the possibility of splitting something, especially with a drummer. But I think that it can be balanced untraditionally. And what I plan on doing is bouncing back and forth. And just keeping a present and just making friends and essentially staying in contact with friends on a regular basis.
Yeah. Well, that's definitely something you and I could talk really in depth about, because I know that you had an inclination towards that as well. But it's like, well, here's another example. So I did the Boise State Blue Thunder thing in a very untraditional way, in a very untraditional way of thinking. And, Dave Wells isn't with us anymore, but it would have been, in hindsight, would have told me, like, after that experience to like kind of quiz him about like what from his perspective, this kid calling up, say, hey, I don't want to be a student, I want to be a part of the group. Like, what was your thought process? And like, I don't know, but it would have been interesting to know. And then that next summer of 92, I tried to get a job with a company called Worldwide Showcase, and they put bands together and sent them on tour. And it was really super appealing to me. And I auditioned for that group and did not make it. But because I got rejected, that wasn't the end of it for me. I would, because they put 4 bands together and they had all the drum spots filled. And so then I called like a week later and said, hey, I'm still interested if somebody decides, if they get fired or if they wash out or whatever the case is, or
if they can't do this.
Right. Can they spin the sticks? Can they juggle? Can they look like the circus? I'm in. So I just kept calling them and letting them know that I really want to do this. And so this would probably be the beginning of June-ish, maybe May, that I had auditioned, because their camp started like the end of July.
Okay.
Well, it got to be the beginning of August, and they're like, dude, it's not happening. And I'm like, dude, I'm still in if it's And so I know I went to work earlier that week, and I told my boss, I'm like, I've really, really tried for months to get into this thing and told no over and over and over and over. So I'm not leaving. I'm here. Well, that Friday morning of that week, I got a call from Showcase and said, if you can be here by Sunday, you're in. And so I never liked the no answer. And
tenacity.
I got that phone call. I was so excited. I called my dad, this is when I still lived out on the farm. And I called my dad, who worked in Boise, and I said, Showcase called and said if I could be there Sunday. And my dad went to the airport and bought me a one-way ticket to Tampa Bay, Florida. And I got on a plane on that Sunday, not knowing anybody that I was going to go meet. Or I didn't know who was picking me up from the airport. I didn't know anything.
See, that's living the flam lifestyle.
The flam lifestyle.
A paradiddle would not do that. That just wouldn't happen.
You can tell by my build I'm a flam kind of guy, right?
Put a flam on it.
I mean, can we I'm gonna try this. I've never turned my back on the camera.
Profile. Oh, there we go. Oh yeah, the flam. Okay.
Yeah, I'm wearing the flam shirt.
Hold on, so much.
Oh, you got one? Yeah.
The flam daddy wears a flam shirt. Oh wait.
There we go. So yeah, I have never been a fan of being told no about something I was really passionate about doing. So let's shift gears again, Jared.
Okay.
Let's go to your TikTok presence, which I think is awesome. And
oh my God.
You've got this community of people that follow you on TikTok. And through that, well, before I get too involved, my good buddy James here. James says being present in a place like Nashville is definitely a huge weight in your favor. There's tons of drummers available at the drop of a hat that are there. I believe once you're established at a certain level, you can survive with a computer in an airport. Yeah.
Yeah. Once you're Tommy Lee.
Yeah. They don't care where Tommy lives. He could live in Parma for all we know. And his private helicopter will take him wherever he needs to be.
No, but there's some truth to that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I want you to walk us through your process, or maybe it was just an evolution of things, but you got on TikTok, you do these quirky, fun videos, and then you do a lot of live streaming things where you're playing and you got your drum pad and your sticks, and you're really involved with people commenting and playing along. And I think it's super engaging and entertaining at the same time.
Oh, thank you.
Especially when I get involved.
Yes.
They're like, oh, Fred Rock's.
Oh, here we go. Fred Rock, Captain, Isaiah.
Stick tricks.
Hollywood. Yeah.
So what was your approach to that? And then also, if you could lead us into what Discord is and what your community is on Discord, and why somebody would want to be involved with your Discord.
So I guess we'll start with TikTok because that's where it started.
Yes.
I guess I came to the realization that I wanted people to connect with my music, yet there I was connecting with nobody.
Mm-hmm.
I was wanting people to invest in me, hiding in my room. I mean,
you mean while you were hiding in your room?
Yeah.
Captain says it's super entertaining.
Thanks, Captain. So I took it upon myself to push myself into a really, really, really super uncomfortable zone of opening up on social media with short form content. Of course, there's all sorts of advertising benefit to it when you're releasing a song every 6 weeks and you're working as a producer and whatever. But with TikTok, I consciously decided to make it just a little bit more raw. So what I started doing is I just started learning the hybrid rudiments.
Mm-hmm.
It just in real time, just because I mean, I'd love to practice, and maybe there'd be some people out there who can help me out and give me some advice, or maybe there'd be some people that I could help out and just start a conversation.
Yeah.
And it just kind of evolved out of that. Just me, some voice inside, because when I practice anyway, like filming yourself is such an important tool.
It is.
So I film myself anyway, and then with COVID, like I'm the type of person, if I have to perform and I'm not performing regularly, I get really nervous. If it isn't part of my rhythm, if performing isn't part of my life on a regular basis, I get really nervous. Doing the stuff live on TikTok is performing. It's keeping me in that zone, and it's helping me to understand the human connection part of performance art and music in a way that I haven't understood before. And in doing that, I've met a lot of pretty cool people. Some of them are in the chat right now, like Isaiah and Captain and a bunch of others. And so it became clear that we needed a place where we could talk further.
Sure. Yeah.
Which led to Discord.
Okay. So what is now? There's a lot of people out there that don't know. What's my right verbiage? They don't know what Discord is.
Yeah. So if you're familiar with Reddit, which is like a community information board, right? Mm-hmm. So if you go to Reddit and there's different topics and different ways to post things on different topics, and you do a search for it and you get answers. Discord is like a private Reddit, I think and if anybody can describe it better than me, please do so in the chat. But I think that's essentially what it is. It's a private community where we have a bunch of drummers, a bunch of musicians, and a bunch of people who just love music.
Yeah.
Who are posting exercises, challenging each other, giving advice. We're holding raffles. There's a fake currency in my Discord. Believe it or not, it's called the Flam.
Yes.
And people earn Flams by participating and doing different challenges. And then you can buy raffle tickets with the Flams, and you can buy lessons with the Flams. And soon you're gonna be able to buy shirts with the Flams and just stuff like that.
So I'm in the Discord. I'm not heavily active in the Discord, and I peek in there every once in a while and see conversation. That's how I knew that you had the discussion about the open-handed playing.
Yeah,
because somebody had shared Harry Myrie's video in that.
Killer drummer.
Yeah, and I recognize Captain from the live stuff on TikTok and his involvement also with the Discord.
Yeah,
but it's really cool. Like even I did an exercise. So I come up with different exercises that I write for my students, and sometimes I share those with Jared just to kind of get some feedback. Like, what is your perspective or thoughts on this? Is it beneficial? And you shared that 4-3-2-1.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Grid I had. And then some people played it. It's just a really cool community that you've built. And how many people are in your Discord? Do you know?
I think we're at 117 musicians right now. Super drummer heavy, but when I say drummer, I mean I that encompasses the percussionist too. Yeah. Just real quick, Discord differs from Twitch. Twitch is a live streaming platform. Twitch would be more similar to what we're doing right now, whereas Discord would be similar to going to a private website and just accessing through different tabs and different channels.
Yeah. James says, is Discord on TikTok or another platform?
Discord is its own platform. So I'm gonna date myself here. Discord is what the young people are using to educate themselves. So it's a gamified platform, and it's really confusing for us, for people of my generation who don't quite understand how it plays out, because it kind of looks like an old school beta site, but it's gamified, and it's a completely different. It's a standalone platform. James,
if you message me or Jared, we could get him in the Discord.
Yeah, we can get you in the Discord.
Yeah,
it'd be cool to have you in there, James. Actually,
because you have a bunch of subgenres in there. So there you have like a general chat. You have stuff for marching percussion. You have stuff in there for drum set
and rudiments,
mixing,
mastering, production.
Yeah, songwriting.
Yeah,
you have all these subtopics of places to go in there and see what's happening.
Yeah,
how do you keep up with that?
Well,
I see that it's
a lot.
It gets busy sometimes.
It's a lot. I do have some members like Captain and like Hollywood who can answer some of the questions for me or participate and keep things going.
Yeah.
So as the community grows, the community itself gets more active. But initially, it was kind of on my shoulders to kind of like try to get some engagement rolling because people are shy, like you join this community and you don't know the other 116 people. And if you've never like existed in this type of chat environment before, it's kind of intimidating. So
yeah.
Discord is what Christian's indoor group would use for communicating. Yep.
Yeah. So the producer's saying Discord is what Christian's indoor group. Christian is our son. Use it for communicating. Slack is similar. They would have the general chat for scheduling, etc. Then a snare chat for just the snares, etc. Yeah. But yeah, James, if you want to get in there, I can help you, or just go directly to the source.
You can earn some flams.
You can earn flams. You can help those kids learn.
You could get your raffle ticket for the Flam Daddy.
Let's talk about your drum pads.
Everybody's flams are better on the Flam Daddy. Simply by touching the Flam Daddy, your flams are better.
Oh, I felt the energy transfer.
You should try a flam. Okay, that was all right. I got to tweak something here.
Oh. Does that?
This is an RCP drum pad with the last one I did had a picture of P Diddy on it, and it was called. Are we going here?
Yeah, it's called the diddler.
It's called the diddler.
Yeah,
and not it's called a diddler because we're talking paradiddles. That's the only reason why it's called a diddler.
Only reason.
And so if you owned the diddler, then every morning when you wake up, you can be the only person outside of prison who gets to play a paradiddle on P Diddy's nose.
That's right.
So that was raffled off. The diddler is now owned by somebody, and I'm seeing Instagram videos of the diddler being used out in the wild.
Out in the wild.
So now we have the Flam Daddy by request of the Discord members. I wouldn't necessarily thought of putting my picture on here, but now that it's called the Flam Daddy, I think it's kind of funny. So I'm owning it.
I love it.
And just like the diddler, your diddles were better on the diddler. Your flams are 10 times, like a 20-foot radius around the Flam Daddy.
20-foot radius.
Yeah. So that's what the Flam Daddy is.
But if you're on Discord, you could that's the next raffle item on your Discord.
Yeah, and you can get raffle tickets with flams, or if you want to increase your odds, you can buy them for $3. But I'm really enjoying using flams as motivation to get people to do things within the community for the purpose of buying raffle tickets.
Yeah.
So one thing this is kind of my pay it forward move. So there's this account on Captain. If you can think of this account name, please share it. There's this account on TikTok where this kid is trying to post, I'm going to do this every day until I get into DCI. And he has this practice marimba that's made out of cardboard and just like finding really creative, non-traditional ways to practice, and is just working it. And I was inspired by him. So I told everybody in my Discord, if they go leave a supportive comment on this guy's chat, then they earn 100 flams.
Oh, wow.
So if they go out and pay it forward with positivity, I pay them with flams. And then eventually those flams add up and you can get the Flam Daddy with flams.
It's flamalicious.
Only flams.
Only flam. Yeah, you need your Only Flams channel.
That's the next stream.
What was that really totally made up word I said right before we do your
I can't remember. I knew the intent.
Yeah, I can't, man. I wish I could remember what I had said. So speaking of raffles,
yes,
should we is everybody ready to find out who gets the Drummergy mug, a pair of my Vader 5B
Fred Rocks
sticks?
Do you want to rock like Fred Rock?
You got to have the Fred Rock.
This is required to rock like Fred Rock.
Yep. The Los Angeles 5A Vader's nylon tip and the Galactic Groove. Now, will they get a tank top or a t-shirt?
It only comes in a tank top.
It only comes in
I'm
a
sorry.
tank top.
And you're not going to get the one I'm wearing. I'm going to get your mailing address from you, and I'm going to mail you one. And if
what are the chances of hand delivering?
Yes, we're ready.
Well, we're should we be ready, Mrs. Producer?
Okay.
Sure. Hold it high so you don't see
All right, hold on.
Oh, wait.
Let's get this thing a seriously appropriate.
Wait, where's
appropriate shake?
Wait,
Where's
the symbol?
Why am I holding this high?
You can't even see it.
Can I bring it down?
You should be able to bring it down.
Can't even see what? Are we good?
We got to be able to have a symbol here ready to go.
Okay, all right.
Don't stress me out, Fred.
Okay.
Wait.
Now what?
Who's gonna draw the name?
Okay, so what are we doing first?
Yeah, what are we raffling off first? Let's do the 5A sticks.
Okay. The nylon tips?
The nylon tip. We're gonna do the nylon tip.
You guys ready for some nylon?
Yeah. So
okay. Shake it. Okay, pull it out, Mary. Pull it out.
Oh, we gotta wait.
Keep rolling.
Okay.
Yeah, boom. Okay.
Do you want to read?
You're gonna open it up?
I thought you. Oh.
Who is it?
Matt Vanderboom. I hope you don't crush these sticks with your guns.
Oh.
Nice.
Okay, Matt Vanderbo.
Drummer life for Matt Vanderbo.
Who's going to be here next week?
Oh, nice.
Let's see. Is Matt even still here? I love how you're stirring them up.
Okay.
I love
Drum
it.
roll, please. Oh, wait. So
Let
what's
the summer
next?
go.
What's next?
Oh,
Should we do it?
you want to do your shirt?
Yeah, let's do the shirt.
We're going to do the Galactic Groove.
Galactic Groove tank top.
That's right.
Matched grip. I don't want to hear any comments otherwise.
Future match grip alien.
Drum roll. Oh. Ron Ross Kelly.
Ron Ross Kelly, you got the shirt,
You got
dude.
the Galactic Groove.
Yeah. Okay, let's
Do
write.
you know Ron?
I don't.
Okay, Ron. Hit me up.
I know Ron.
Ron, hit me up on Facebook.
Yeah.
We got
I think Ron's on Facebook.
Yeah, friend me and DM me so that I can get your details so that I can get you your Galactic Groove shirt matched grip style.
That's right. Get it sent to him.
Okay.
All right. What are
So
we
what's
doing next?
next?
Should we do the Fred Rock sticks and then we'll do the Drummergy mug last?
Who's gonna?
Yeah, Ron. So Ron's right there. So Ron, you got the instructions there, buddy.
All right. Whoever gets this is gonna rock like Fred Rock, and we expect to see videos.
That's right.
Okay, shake it, shake it, shake it.
We've completely gone off the rails. Mark Bergmuller.
Mark Bergmuller, ladies and gentlemen.
Mark, did I say your last name right? I hope I did.
That's why I handed it to him. I was like, Bert, there you go.
Yes. Okay.
Mark is gonna rock like Fred Rock.
That's right. Expect to see videos.
Everybody else, where else can people get some of these?
They could just message me. They can get them straight from me.
From the source?
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
from the source. Yep.
Okay.
And now,
The grand finale. Do we need a theme song?
I wish we did.
Okay, next time. All right. Okay, I'm ready. I'm doing my
It's
part.
Drummergy. Okay. This is really hard to play this way, by the way. That's terrible.
Not using trad. Oh no! Oh, build this one up. Build this one up. Somebody who never wins. Who never wins a raffle, ladies and gentlemen. The captain. Bam!
The
captain.
gets the mug.
Captain,
All right.
you will now take back all your words. Officially in the Discord, I
He
expect
said this
to
is
take
madness,
back.
but look at him. He's
I
walking,
can get this to Captain.
he's walking away victorious.
I actually have another swag bag to mail to Captain,
Oh, look at
who claims that he never wins anything. You've got a box coming to you today, which includes this.
nice. Well, that was fun. That was pretty cool.
All right.
That's where
So what do I win?
So that,
Let's get to the real part of the game here.
well, when we wrap this up, we are going in the house and the producers got breakfast going, and we're gonna have some, and we'll talk about
Nashville.
and our.
There's
and
going to
our
be French
future.
toast, espresso,
Yeah,
maybe a fruit salad, some bacon. Oh man, I can't wait.
Okay, so to recap on a couple of things. Oh yeah, we're gonna. This
Sorry.
day's getting this day is just getting started. Last week I did my show, and then I was on the Drummers Education Connection podcast. And yesterday, late in the day, Bart Robley messaged me and said, "Are you available to be on our podcast again this week?"
The answer is yes.
And the answer is yes. Okay, let's see what we got here. Sorry. Congrats to Matt, Ron, the captain, and Mark. The captain says, actually, Fred doesn't get breakfast, according to Mary in the chat.
Hey, that's cool.
Wait a second,
That's
Captain.
cool.
I thought we were becoming friends.
Take the mug
This is
back.
going sideways. And then, okay, yeah. So I will be on the Drummers Education Connection podcast in, let's see, it's almost 9. So in 3
math.
hours. 3 hours, I'll be sitting right back here talking to Bart in Los Angeles and Chip in Tucson.
Nice.
And that topic today is going to be next level thinking.
Ooh.
So
wow. I hope you're ready.
next level thinking, what do you think next level thinking is?
Yeah, intimidating. Feels like I'm being put on the spot. That's what next level thinking feels like.
I think it's well, I'll let you answer the question.
I mean, I would guess that the conversation is going to revolve around mindset and life design.
Yeah.
I would guess the conversation is going to revolve around conscious decision. So I guess that's what I think it is.
Yeah, I think all of those are applicable for sure. I think I would just put this out there, not just from like a local musician perspective, but anything that you're trying to do, like me talking about taking that chance and making a phone call to Boise State saying, hey, I want to do this. Can we make it happen?
Yep.
My relentless pursuit of being with Showcase.
Mm-hmm.
My relentless pursuit of trying to be really good at my instrument while also knowing I still have a lot to learn. It's getting out of that comfort zone. And the more you get out of your comfort zone, the larger your comfort zone becomes.
Yeah.
Because you get used to taking those. So that's like next level thinking. But I think when some people want to have success with music, that there's a lot of daunting things out there that it seems like it's going to take a lot of work or it's impossible to have those steps.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's, I mentioned like, I would really like to be touring with an already established artist playing arenas. That's my thing that I really want to do. And it's like, I have to be doing all of those same things in that way of thinking now and not wait till, oh, I got the gig. Now I have to dress a certain way. Now I need to perform a certain way. Now I need to be concerned about playing to the click. It's like getting all the groundwork done now, like that next level thinking. So,
yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, the thing is like when you know what gets you off, when you know what makes you, when you know what you're chasing, that stuff happens naturally. And that's called being in the zone. And when you're in the zone, the opportunities present themselves. It's just hard to stay in that zone, and that's, I guess, next level thinking.
Yeah. So that's what I'm going to be doing in 3 hours.
Nice.
is talking about that. And then we have a lot of new people here that are transplants, I would say, from Jared's TikTok and his
my homies.
If you guys would do me the honor of subscribing to my YouTube channel, and
do that,
and the notification button, that would be super sweet.
Yeah,
I've been in the process of uploading my old videos to YouTube, and there's some gold in them there hills.
Yeah. It's fun navigating through old stuff, that's for sure.
Yeah. Is there anything I'm missing, Jared?
I don't
go
think
see
so.
your video on called My Destiny. It's on YouTube, right?
Yeah,
I mean, Mary had put that in the chat somewhere.
All my links are in my whatever platform you're on. Just go to my bio, and I have a link tree. You can see the video. You can join any of my communities. I've got a songwriting community. You can join the Discord. Anybody who's watching is welcome to join the Discord. And if you have any issues with anything, just reach out to me. But you can find my merch. You can find the rest of. I'm on the forefront of rudimental fashion. you can find the rest of my shirts in my merchandising tab.
I love that
on that link tree.
Captain, thank you very much. I appreciate that. And if anybody out there is wanting to do drum lessons, I also do lessons online. So just reach out. I'd love to help. It's like you. I love sharing my knowledge and ideas about just being the best drummer you can be.
Yeah. There's a lot of inspiration to be found when taking lessons, taking or giving, participating in the lesson process.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's never only just one person learning.
No. Like you said, I'm pretty sure you'd think this to be true, is like, even when you're teaching somebody else, you're learning at the same time.
Yeah.
Like you learn how to be a better teacher. You learn that, oh, this way I'm teaching this person is working better than the last time I tried to present this information. And the whole evolution in your teaching. Yeah.
And you see something that they accidentally do and you think, ooh, wow, I'm going to take that. For me, the beauty is in the accidents,
Yeah. I agree. I agree. The beauty in the accidents.
Yeah.
That's, you never know, because I mean, I've had students in and out of here. I've got 40 some students, 45 at the moment, I think, that come in and out of this room every week, and I'll see how their practice went throughout the week. And every once in a while, somebody will say, I was working on this, but I did these things to do it. And
Yeah.
you yourself go, oh, that's a great approach.
Yeah.
To that, whatever that thing was. So yeah,
exactly.
Dude, thank you for being here and and joining in. Yeah. It's hard to do, huh?
Yeah.
Turn yourself sideways and try to get on that. Thanks for hanging out. Make sure you go to Jared's pages, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and
wherever,
and check him out. He goes live frequently on TikTok, and you also do the hand pan.
On the hand pan, man pan.
Yes.
Sometimes I play flams on a hand pan when I'm being the hand pan, man pan.
I love that the hand pan, man pan can play the flam pan on the hand man. I don't know. I just tried to find a bunch of words that rhyme with hand.
Accurate. Me too.
Well, we're gonna go have breakfast. The producer is whipping us up some
French toast.
Are we doing French toast, producer? It sounds like we are. See, you just ask for what you want.
Exactly.
What we're asking for is French toast, bacon, and eggs.
And creme brulee. Oh, no creme brulee. I'm confused. Do you ask or do you not ask, Fred? Which is it?
You ask, but you don't always get what you ask for.
Oh.
But you should always
But
ask.
if you try sometimes, you just might find...
I'm not
scrambled eggs.
I'll eat scrambled eggs, but I actually prefer my eggs over easy.
I think he's quoting my rudiment
over medium.
My rudiment that I invented.
Oh, do you have
It's
a
called
scrambled
eggs?
Oh,
it's part of the egg family of rudiments.
So I think that you need the AI Jared picture, analog Jared picture with your Jared rudiments.
Jared rudiments. The Jarediments.
The Jarediments. Hey, Steve Gadd has
like Steve Gadd, but worse.
Has the Gaddiments.
I know.
That's what he's got.
I'm just like Steve Gadd, but worse. That's about what you could expect.
Now that's not true. That's not true. Thank you, everybody, for joining in. I appreciate it. I am here every Tuesday morning at 7 a.m. Mountain Time, 9 a.m. Eastern. And next week's guest will be Matt Vanderbo. We're going to talk about music sync licensing for film and TV and his success with that, his bodybuilding,
his guns,
and his popcorn business.
Matt VB. Daddy's popcorn.
Thanks for joining us, folks, and congratulations to our winners, the captain and Mark.
Ron.
Who did we miss? Who got the first pair of sticks? Matt did.
Matt did.
All right. And we're going to end this right now. Let's go eat breakfast.
Okay.
All right, buddy. All right. We'll see you guys. Nighty night.